Welcome back to day 9 of the 12 projects of Codemas. I hope you all had a good Christmas. Let's get right on into it. All right, let's get into the unboxing. Day 9, almost done. All right, so we have 2 more male-to-male jumper wires, 2 male-to-female jumper wires, and 1 tilt sensor switch. All right, Maker Advent Calendar day number 9, full tilt. Welcome to day 9 of your 12 projects of Codemas Advent Calendar. Today we're going to be using a sensor that detects movement, but not like our PIR sensor from day 7. This is a tilt sensor, which can detect when it is tilted over a certain angle. While we'll be using a simple ball tilt sensor which provides on-off style output, in the outside world, much more advanced versions are used in car alarms, boat and airplane robotics, and more. This is a nice simple sensor that gives us a high signal when tilted over a certain angle. In fact, this is probably going to seem like a really easy day considering all the components you've been tinkering with. Box 9 contents, as we saw, was the tilt sensor / switch, 2 male-to-male jumper wires, and 2 male-to-female jumper wires. Today's project. In today's box of fun is a ball tilt sensor. The little can with 2 legs sticking out. That can has a small metal ball inside. When you tilt the sensor, gravity pulls the ball downwards and makes it roll to the other end. The legged end has 2 contacts inside which connect to each leg. When the ball rolls down the legged end, it connects these contacts or legs together, as metal is conductive, which then provides our pico with a high signal. When we tilt it back, the ball rolls away and the connection is broken, sending the pin back to low. Great for robotics projects as an auto kill switch if your robot manages to roll over. Construct the circuit. You know the drill, turn that pico off before changing the circuit. Once again, we're going to start with the LEDs and buzzer connected, so remove the temperature sensor parts from yesterday, which should leave you with this as your starting circuit. All right. Now to add the tilt sensor. It acts like a switch, so we only need to connect 2 wires, and we've included male to female jumper wires to allow you to wire the component without attaching it directly to the breadboard, giving you the flexibility to tilt the switch. We've also included some male to male wires if you prefer to wire this to the breadboard. The legs are only so strong, so while supporting the legs with your fingers, gently push the sensor pins into the female ends of the jumper wires. Then connect one of these wires to 3.3 volt or physical pin 36 and the other to GPIO 26 or physical pin 31. The legs have no polarity, so don't worry about which legs go where. Your circuit should look like this. Activity 1, basic tilt sensor program. Let's get a little program running to test our sensor and see how it works. We only need a handful of lines to use this kind of tilt sensor, as it works just like a button or switch, triggering high or low signals. This is very similar to our code from day 3. We set our sensor's pin with pull downs and then run a simple if statement looking for the pin to go to high. Activity 2, tilty make buzz a lot. Let's trigger our buzzer whenever the sensor detects tilting. This is a basic version of the kind of system used in car alarms to detect when the vehicle is being lifted at an angle. The example below adds the buzzer back into the code, which means we have to import PWM as we have done previously. Assess the buzzer frequency before the while loop, as we won't be changing the frequency, and then simply increases the buzzer duty or volume when a tilt is detected. All right, sweet. All right, pretty straightforward. Activity 3, tilt counter. In some projects, counting the number of times a sensor has detected something can be very useful, like knowing how many times someone has entered a room or attempted to move an object. Let's alter our code to count each time a tilt is detected. The example below is a little smarter than our previous counters, as we've added a new state variable to ensure the pin always returns back to low before we count again. Otherwise, if we kept this sensor tilted high, it would just keep counting forever. We start the state at 0, then use AND in our if statements to check if two conditions, remember this from day 3, with the buttons to check if both are being held down. The first if statement won't run unless the state is 0 and the pin is high. When it does run, the block of code inside this if statement changes the state to 1, meaning it can't run this counting block again until we return that state to 0. The second if statement handles this. The second if statement only runs if the state is 1 and the pin is low, meaning we're forced to tilt the sensor back to trigger this block. Return the state to 0, ready to be tilted again. The code. Try this example and remember to keep an eye on the jumper wires, as they have a habit of popping out when you least expect it. Alright, so we're holding it up now and it's not moving like it was before. Alright, sweet. Now return to activity 2 and think how you could improve this in the same way, waiting for the pin to trigger low again before allowing the buzzer to sound, or perhaps add the LEDs in for visual feedback on the tilt. Oops. Alright. Alright, so currently, if I run it, keeps going off. So let's try, go ahead and stop it. Let's try adding the tilt count. So alright, so tilt detected. Now let's reset it. Does it again, but it stops instead of being continuous. Let's add in the LEDs. Is that day 3? Don't ask me why I just typed that and then pasted that. I really don't know. Alright, let's see if we got lucky and got that right the first time. So nothing, and when I tilt this, it should buzz and the light should go on. Alright. Looks like we succeeded. Day 9 complete. Well done, makers. We've cracked another sensor. Today's sensor, some might call it a switch, was a little easier than others, especially as you're now familiar with MicroPython and the approaches we're taking. But we thought a little breather would be good before we adventure onto the fun yet slightly more advanced goodies in the final 3 boxes. Today you have learned what a tilt sensor / switch is and why you might use one, learn how to wire a tilt sensor into your circuit, how to use variables and if statements in a way that improves the robustness and accuracy of our project, made a basic tilt alarm, and reused a lot of things that we've already learned. As always, please do not disassemble the circuit until tomorrow, where we will explore the next fun component. See you then. As always, thank you guys for watching, and come back tomorrow for day 10.